The time has come. It is Ask Mark number 99, and we are not far now from Ask Mark number 100 going live on the 9th of January. I'm excited to ask or answer your questions rather today. Post them in the comment section below with the hashtag AskMark to make sure they get noticed by the team. And leave your comments as well in the space below. We're going to get into today's questions. Before we do, don't forget to jot that time in your calendar. 2 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on the 9th of January and 8 a.m. Brisbane time on the 10th of January to join me for 2 hours live with special guests. We're going to have Matt in the studio as well. You can ask him questions. It's all going to be happening on that weekend, second weekend of the new year. So let's get into today's questions. As I say, post yours with the hashtag AskMark in the comments section below. And the first is from Julia. Julia says, "Hey Mark, I'm so scared that I texted him too much and made him bored. I don't know what to do now. We're snapping to be exact. Yesterday he didn't snap me back for 4 hours because I guess it wasn't necessary to reply to my answer, but I feel like he's getting bored. He snapped me back after the 4 hours though. I don't really know how to snap and text him anymore. I don't snap back right away, but I just feel that my texts and snaps are getting boring. What should I do? Is it too late to save our relationship?" That took a leap. Or am I just overthinking? Please help. It's not like I'm snapping all the time. He's also snapping me first, but I just feel that my replies are boring sometimes. Have I screwed it up? Let me make this clear. Any electronic-based thing, especially text, is just a bridge to the good stuff, right? And the good stuff is the in-person hangouts, or at a very minimum, if you're COVID separated, your video calls, right? The rest is, it's just bobs to keep it going. So it's interesting that you use the word relationship because it sounds like this is a guy you've just been flirting with. But if you are in a relationship with this guy, I'd really encourage you to understand that the excitement comes from the in-person. It comes from the interaction. That's how human beings literally relate. It's called relationship because you relate to each other in person in a live format. So if you're relying on text or photos to keep that up, you're going about it all the wrong way. Right? Now, there's other things you can do here. Have other priorities, for sure. Get on your hobbies, see your friends, use voice messages instead of text. Just put your phone away and do other stuff. All those are important. But fundamentally, what really draws a man to you is the in-person interactions. It's feeling your energy, it's hearing your voice, it's all that stuff. So this is just a bridge. If you have a relationship with him, that is, this is your boyfriend, then this stuff should be irrelevant, right? If you don't have a relationship with him or you're relying on text to keep things interesting, then you have a problem because the real meat, the real juice of what keeps a man connected is, as I say, it's going to be not done on text, not even done over message. It's going to be done either at the very least over the phone and then primarily in person. Second question from Colleen. Colleen says, "Loving the feather, poke, slap, truck intuition analogy." What that is there's a saying that your intuition, it tickles you with a feather and it pokes you in the shoulder and it slaps you across the face and it hits you with a Mack truck. Right? That's what Colleen is talking about there. The problem is chemistry draws us to the same type. Do guys really instinctively multi-date, breaking out empath with no boundaries? Guys' peer groups can break a relationship. Yes, guys do instinctively multi-date because young men especially, commitment is like a big thing. If I get someone pregnant, I have a family, I got to support that shit. I got to have food, I got to pay for it, I got to do all the things. How on earth am I going to be able to do that if I haven't set myself up for life? Makes a lot more sense to just go around sowing my seeds, so to speak, than it does to commit in that situation. So yes, from that point of view, for single young men, multi-dating is more, if you want to call it, natural. By the way, if guys' peer groups break his relationship, then your relationship wasn't that strong. Sorry, but it's true. Miss Lana Hudson says, "What's the difference between being nice and having standards, such as waiting to have sex with someone?" What's the difference between being nice and having standards? I can't think of any similarities between being nice and having standards. I don't... Yeah, you can wait to have sex if you want, if that's a standard of yours, for sure. Being nice is often spoken in the context of getting walked on. So don't do that. Have boundaries, have standards, have lines in the sand, minimum standards of what you're willing to expect, not just from men, but in life. And you'll find that life will meet those standards. This is on the quote, "Having a man who is not communicating with you is not something you deserve for yourself. You have to be with someone who can communicate and talk to you. And the question was from Jenny, and Jenny says, true, but how about someone who can communicate, yes, but their action is not exactly what they say? Well, people speak a lot louder with their actions than their words. So someone can say, hey, yeah, I'm going to do that, and give you a verbal, but they don't have to back that up with action if you're not going to back up your request with action, right? Life is action. You change your life with action. You place boundaries and standards with action. You implement things with action. Action always over words. So back yourself. Afagh says, hi Mark, I just started a relationship before quarantine, was so excited about it. But with social distancing, we are apart, and since then we've been talking on Instagram, just commenting on different posts, maybe talking over the phone once a week. At first I thought it's going to be a few weeks, maybe a few months, but now I'm tired of just talking like this. And once I told him, I don't know how to be in a relationship, my parents weren't that close, I don't know what to do. Oh, sorry, he said, I don't know how to be in a relationship, my parents weren't that close. And you said, I don't know what to do, should I end things? If someone said that to me, I'd say, well, is this something you want to learn? You know, because you're watching this channel, you obviously have some knowledge, he knows something. So relationship is something you learn together. It's not something anyone is born fully naturally with, and some of us have a little more leg up than others, but all of us have learnings that we can undertake. So should I end things? I would see if he's willing to step up and step into his fear before you do. If he's willing to do that, you guys might learn heaps together. If he wants to be a boy and not a man, then let him go and do that. But put it to him and communicate this. You get your answer. Caroline says, my case sounds different. I don't know what she's referring to. Let's see if we can figure it out. My boyfriend of a year plus told me he needed space because he got a lot going on and wants to regain his stability, but he didn't tell me how long. Oh, it's getting spicy here. I so much love him and don't want to lose him. It's been a week now and I haven't reached out to him and I'm wondering what else I can do. Look, this is exactly the same as what I spoke about in the what to do when he says he wants space video. Okay, you've got to be able to, you're right, Matthew? It's coming in.
It's like there's an apocalypse happening.
It's coming in. Look, you've got to be able to follow the same tips in that video, right? Is men are allowed to ask for space, and giving them that space can sometimes be very helpful. It lets them reset themselves. But sometimes you got to say no. Sometimes you got to say, look, this is the limit of my space and your needs matter too. So you've got to make a decision about how much space you want to give him. And his reasons don't really matter. It's what you want. The goal is for you guys to find a way to work together and to be able to say, okay, well, you want space, I want connection. How do we solve this? And where are both of our limits? And you might find those limits are not compatible and you do have to go your separate ways. But these, I want to make the point here, these are not excuses. You can't say, oh, I want to get stability, I need indefinite space. Nah, mate, it doesn't work like that. You got this, Caroline. Grateful Princess of God says, what is the meaning of non-physical attraction? Who would go to bed with someone if there's not some physical attraction in this world? When I refer to non-physical attraction, I'm talking about all the things about you that he likes, that he's attracted to, that have nothing to do with sex. So in this context, I get a lot of questions from women about, hey, can I sleep with a guy sooner if I want to? And I say, yeah, you can. Absolutely, especially if you just want to enjoy sex. And the guy will continue to be interested if there is non-physical attraction. But what can get very confusing is men have sexual mindsets and men will notice sexual attractiveness and they'll want to sleep with a lot of women where the attraction is only sexual. Right? I slept with most of my partners almost immediately, but the non-physical attraction was always there. And there's plenty of women I've slept with which was physical attraction only and I didn't continue anything with them. So non-physical attraction is all the elements that are attractive about you that have nothing to do with sex. Do you know what? I should turn off the camera now, but I'm not going to. Sarah says, the guy that I'm seeing is, it's Ask Mark 99. Right? We got to keep going. We can't quit on 99. It's not what it's about. Sarah says, the guy that I'm seeing said, I like you, now hardly puts in effort. I did respond back to him 2 days late. Should I text again? Look, it was probably your mistake to delay texting back here, and you can certainly give him the green lights, give him the signals. But if he's not putting in effort, if his actions aren't following his words, as I said to whoever it was earlier, that's your clear signal. Right? Judge a man on his effort respective to you. Layah says, in a committed relationship, is it a red flag if the guy doesn't spend the night? Does that mean he fears intimacy? Gee, that's an interesting one. I would have thought in any committed relationship, you're going to have had a conversation about what commitment means to each of you. So if he's a no sex before marriage type of guy, if he doesn't want to do that closeness too soon, I would hope you guys can communicate on that. So if he's a no sex before marriage, if he's a I don't want to stay over type of guy, I would think in a committed relationship, you would have had this discussion, you would know why that's going on. If you haven't had that chat, or if he's just pulled this out of nowhere, hey, I'm in a committed relationship, things are going well, we're sleeping together, and suddenly now he doesn't want to stay the night, yeah, I'd be concerned about that. I think that's weird. Bring it up with him. The next question is giant, so I'm not going to read that. The question after that is from Diane Gill. And Diane says, Mark, I'm a huge fan of yours and so appreciative of your guidance. Thank you, Diane. Question, how does a high-value woman know when to walk away when the relationship is at a critical moment and her decision to stay would set a precedent for how she's treated in the future? Many thanks in advance. Look, you've got to decide with your own standards what you're willing to accept and what you're not. Men really follow standards when they sense the hammer coming down. So let's take an extreme example. Let's say you were cheated on and he betrayed your trust. And you decide, he came to you super apologetic, he cried, he genuinely wants forgiveness and to make it up to you, and he's willing to work for months to do that. That's not setting a precedent because he has genuinely shown he's sorry, he's apologized for it, he's owned his mistake, he's emoted it, and he senses the hammer will come down hard if he ever does it again. So the question is kind of, has he owned the thing that he's done, if there is something he's done that's betrayed your standard? And are you happy that your deal breaker standards are all met, and that if they're not met in the future, you are still going to be able to bring the axe down and walk away, right? It really comes back to you knowing what your deal breakers are and executing on them. Yeah, he might break them once. Yeah, you've got to give a pretty big wrapping on that. A high-value woman who's serious, a queen, a guy is going to know, especially if something may just happen once, that if he ever does that again, he's going to lose her. And if he knows that from your actions, you won't be setting a precedent, okay? Hope that makes sense with you. Next question is from Zaira as it spices up here. This is amazing. It's all happening here at Ask Mark. We can't quit. Look at that. What a view, first of all. I hope you can hear me. I hope the microphone's not going to... We're good. I got the thumbs up from Matthew. We've still got 3 questions, so let's keep it going. Zaira says, #AskMark. I met a guy online 4 months ago. He lives in Canada, and I was already, before we met, in the process of getting my visa to go and live in Canada. After 2 months, he even said I could move in with him when I got there. We met a month ago when he came to see me, and everything's been going good, but every time he talks about something he likes, he says things like, I like women that use bold colours. Or, it's nice when it's cold and you have someone next to you. Or, I miss having someone to cook a meal with. Or even, my ex was very good at sharing that. He always refers as what he likes or prefers about women in general, but never uses me as a specific example. How should I react to those specific comments? Should I say to him I don't feel special when he talks about women in general? Yeah, if a woman was saying this to me, I would not react, right? If she said, hey, I really love men who wear red shirts, right? I'd either be like, cool, I'm a blue shirt guy, right? Either own that, or if she kept doing it, say, hey babe, is this you trying to communicate that you want me to wear a red shirt? So if it's happened once, it's just a general comment, I'd ignore it, essentially. Yeah, cool, that's awesome. But if it continues to happen, which it sounds like it is, pull him up on it. Say, hey, is that something you're wanting to do with me? Get him to be honest about it. Because you definitely don't want that passive language where he's saying, oh, I love women who do this, or I want this. And you're like, I'm not taking passive hints. You either ask for what you want and give me the freedom to say no, or I'm just going to nod and be like, yeah, cool, good for you. Right? Don't let men be passive in their communication this way with you. Next question is from Nene. And Nene says, hi Mark, I've been a lover of your videos and teachings for a while now. Thank you, Nene. You said your partner at the moment is hours away from you. How do you cope with trust, being lonely in the long distance, and all the challenges that come with it? How do you spice things up to refresh your feelings for each other? What fun activities do you do? Please, a video on this reply would be appreciated. Ruthie from Nigeria. I'm actually going to do an entire video on this because lots of you have been asking. But I would say the core concepts are this. Trusting my intuition. I just have a rock solid belief that she's solid. There's just no doubt in my mind, and she believes the same about me. So when you have that, it gives you a lot of faith in the relationship, and you know both of you are working together. Number two, we've taken on challenges together, right? We both have our own relationship coaches. Actually, that's a good point. We both have our own relationship coaches, and we're constantly having to own shit that is difficult, have difficult conversations, get through difficult shit. It's the difficult moments that make the relationship, right? It's those things that give you stability, that give you resilience, that give you strength. And when you've been through difficult shit together, you trust each other because you're like a bridge that's been road tested with lots of cars. You just know that it's solid. So both of us having coaches and that holding us accountable for going through that difficult shit together, that's really made us strong. And number three, we play board games online together. And that's super fun. And final question, in the midst of something here, a bit of an apocalypse going on. Vanilla Lee says, but how do we know that he's watching and read our stories on social media? It's impossible to know. The number one sign is not really convinced. This is on the signs that he likes you. He's checking your stories on social media. You can check that. Technical Facebook, Instagram question here. But yeah, Vanilla, you can see who's watched your story. I think you click the story or something and it flashes up with who has watched it. And that is 𝐷𝑒99 out in the rain today. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure with the thunder cracking down behind us. That is God saying that this book should be bought, and it's a great book, so make sure you check it out. 300 plus pages of amazing modern day dating advice. It's all in the book. Leave your question in the comments section below with the hashtag AskMark to make sure my team and I see it. And I will see you in AskMark number 100. Don't forget, Saturday the 9th of July, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Brisbane on Saturday the 10th of July. We're going live. Get your friends, get your girlfriends. We're going to have a wine together and hang out on a Saturday. I cannot wait to see you for AskMark number 100.